If you or someone you know has Crohn's disease and you want to know the things to avoid in terms of your diet that might trigger you, I'm going to tell you about those right now. My name is Spooder and I've been living with Crohn's disease for 20 years. So ultimately this can vary from person to person. It's not always exactly the same, or the severity of the reaction may not be the same. But hopefully this will still be helpful in terms of planning your own diet with Crohn's. Okay, so first one is smoking, which I am guilty of myself. So I know that the severity of it can involve a lot of IBS style pain, intestinal pain, increased trips to the toilet, because ultimately what it's doing is it's triggering the flare up, the inflammation in your intestines mainly. For doctors and consultants, it's a big one that they emphasize to avoid. As I say, I don't pretend to be innocent of this myself, but I would say if you can give it up, then give it up. Okay, next one is caffeinated drinks. So tea, coffee, energy drinks. Again, these sort of stimulate the intestines. And it leads you to, well, you guessed it, back to the toilet again. Probably a lot of IBS style cramps going on there as well. So I have, of course, drank these beverages before, particularly with tea and coffee. I would probably just say keep that in moderation. You don't have to necessarily give it up. Energy drinks, my view on them, they're just 10 times worse than tea or coffee would ever be. So I would encourage you to cut down, or if you can, stop drinking those. I myself recently had to stop with coffee for me. I know that probably there are other people out there who drink coffee and they may not feel anything, but what I did to replace it was get some dissolvable vitamin drinks instead, so that you're still going through the ritual of making it a hot beverage, but it's not going to cause any issues for me afterwards. But that's just me. So just to give you a little bit of we were traveling with some friends and went on holiday a few years ago. It involved probably 3 different trains at one point, and they were drinking an energy drink and smoking at the same time. So I spoke to them because they have Crohn's as well, and I said that, you know, you might want to not do that necessarily because it might make your journey a bit more unpleasant. Of course, they did what they wanted to do. I wasn't going to be on my proverbial soapbox for the entire trip, so I just gave them that suggestion. Let them make their own decision. Okay, ice cream truck, thank you very much. Okay, when you're done. Right. Okay, so yes, I gave them that suggestion to not smoke and drink an energy drink on that trip. They did, and they had a reaction. So just goes to show that this can be similar for a lot of people as well. Okay, number 3 is alcohol. Of course, whether you have Crohn's or not, we're always encouraged to drink responsibly. Just to be clear, a little disclaimer, I'm not encouraging people to stop drinking or necessarily to actually start drinking. I'm just sharing my experience as it relates to Crohn's disease. So I just want to put that out there first of all, just in case it gets me in any trouble. I would probably say that if you don't drink at all, then you're probably experiencing more health benefits than what Crohn's disease relates to anyway. So good on you if you don't drink. If you happen to drink though, I drink. I've drank and been on nights out in my youth, so I'm not innocent of that myself. But it will sort of impact your Crohn's the next day. Just be aware of that. In particular, one drink I would probably point out for me was cider, because I think it's like the hops in it or something that really disagreed with me. And what happens is my tummy feels a bit distressed and then actually causes bad breath. So when you're out with friends and everything, and it's not really good. So I myself don't drink cider anymore. Lager as well. Beers, ales, they can be quite taxing. To be fair, I like some ales and beers. That's sort of one of my go-tos. So I just have to be ready that if I decide to do that, it's on my head, be it. But one thing that will probably be a little bit more comfortable as far as alcohol consumption goes and as it relates to Crohn's would be spirits. But again, if you're going to drink a lot of spirits on a night out, you're going to be suffering regardless if you have Crohn's or not. So again, just drink responsibly. Okay, next one is spicy food. This is kind of moot for me because I don't generally like spicy food all that much. I'll probably reach for a korma in terms of a curry, and that's as far as I'll go. Sometimes I might be a little bit adventurous and go a little bit higher, but I wouldn't go way beyond that level of spice, to be honest. Couldn't do a madras or, eat a full chili or anything like that, because ultimately, again, it's just going to inflame things, upset your tummy. It's something to be aware of. So if you do happen to like spicy food, just be ready that if you happen to have Crohn's as well, you're going to have to probably tone it down a little bit. Okay, final one I would say is probably dairy. Dairy's a big one. Cheese, milk, ice cream, things like that. For example, milk, I could only really have it as part of my coffee when I was drinking it. I wouldn't be having cereal or anything like that. You can probably stick with sort of oat milk, soya milk. That would probably be a bit more friendly, but that is what I decided for me. In terms of cheese, well, I love cheese and I love pizza, and the tomato base and the cheese on the pizza will, yes, upset me, but I'm sorry, I'm not giving up pizza, and probably you guys feel the same if you love pizza. And let me know what kind of pizza you like in the comments if you'd like. But yeah, I stopped ice cream, really cut down milk, but cheese was just like, it was a deal breaker. I sort of learned to manage that and have medication ready when I eat the pizza. Okay, just a quick honorable mention as well is carbonated drinks. So fizzy drink, cola, lemonade, things like that. In particular, cola for me is a big one. Full fat Coke is gonna upset me if I drink too much of it, make you very gassy, very bloated. You might say that doesn't necessarily relate to Crohn's, but the severity of it may increase because if you happen to be a Crohn sufferer, that is. Okay, so there are other factors to consider beyond what I've mentioned here, but these are the ones that relate to me the best. If you have any ones that I haven't mentioned and you want to add into the comments, feel free to do so. Another thing I would say is mental health, is that, of course, when you have flare-ups, and regardless of what food or drink has triggered them, make sure that you're doing your self-care, because Crohn's oftentimes feels like your body is working against you, and that can take its toll, it can put a strain on you. So make sure that you're looking after yourself as well, doing plenty of self-care. I just didn't want to overlook that fact as well. If you do want to hear more about my personal journey in terms of Crohn's, I do have a video available for that as well. But overall, the more experience you get with Crohn's, is you'll get to know your triggers very well, and you'll also know what to moderate and also what to cut out altogether.